Before we start, I'm going to tell you about our organization. We are One United. We are One United was founded in December 2022. We are One United. We believe that communities who work together can overcome obstacles and achieve outstanding results that make them safer and better places to work and raise families. We support them with over 40 years of experience, with the strategies, trainings, and resources that they can use to create jobs, get access to technology and services, and form partnerships that allow them to shape their futures innovative ways. As a social enterprise, we build programs that endure and grow to help everyone get their share of their benefits from their share in the work. We're One United. We have these cafes every week, and we have them on Wednesdays, particularly at this time from 6 to 7. And these cafes will address different issues and a different topic under different really subjects. We have community services and development. We discuss issues in regards to our communities. What do we need in our communities to make sure that we develop as a community? We also have wellness, where we discuss issues about health. And also we have social enterprise and employment. Under this subject, we discuss how can we really create jobs for others? How can we really help our community start a business? How can we help our community get them placed to work with the people with either companies, organizations, government, and so on? And then we have technology and innovation. You know, today we need technology. Without technology, you can work, but you can work really too slowly. But once you have technology, you can really do a lot. So under these subjects, we welcome each and everybody from the community to come and work with us and help each other and develop our communities. I would like to take the opportunity to welcome our guest speaker. And our guest speaker is not really a new face to us. As I said in the beginning, we appreciate and we really love you for what you do. And as a person, we really appreciate you. But I'm going to give the opportunity to herself, because when I start talking about her, I know a lot, but she knows better than me. So I'm going to allow her to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. And then we're going to go to our topic. After she introduces herself, we're going to go to our topic for today, that is really going to take us through out the evening. Thank you, Lauren. You're welcome. And introduce yourself, then I will let you do the presentation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this time. And it is wonderful to be in this space with people that I respect and love so much, part of my community, and that have supported me on this journey to where I am now. So my name is Lauren Bruggemans. I'm the Director of Sustainability and Community Engagement at Visit Greater Palm Springs. A little bit about me. I am a Palm Springs local. I was born at Desert Regional Hospital in Palm Springs. I had the great fortune to live, work, and travel abroad because of hospitality. My dad's job afforded us the opportunity to live in places like Singapore, Indonesia, South Africa, Switzerland, London, all around the world. I've been to, I've lived on 4 continents, and I've traveled to all 7, even Antarctica. And that was, you know, because of hospitality and because of tourism. I went to College of the Desert, which gave me the flexibility to work full time, again, in hospitality. And then I transferred to UC San Diego, graduated with a degree in international politics. But, you know, hospitality drew me back in this area, and I rose up in that field, in that industry, in operations, And then I had a really unique opportunity to move to Eastern Indonesia to an island called Sumba, where I built a school, a workforce development program, teaching hospitality skills, life skills, leadership skills. And that really sort of set me on a trajectory to social impact. And I got my master's degree from the London School of Economics in 2019 and came back. And then, the pandemic hit and I felt really rudderless, but was so fortunate to be linked to Jilska and to John. We were able to create what We Are One United. So I'm so honored to have been part of that team, to be part of the founding team of this wonderful organization, and also really wonderful to be able to catapult and provided me a wonderful platform to where I am now, but continue to be on the board of We Are One United and to always, always be a supporter of everything that all of you do. So thank you again for the time. And I would love to share with you our social impact projects, our community engagement projects, and then to have a discussion of, how we can, collaborate and link together and answer any questions you have about our work.
Thank you so much. So as you can hear, Rorin, she's our own. She's on the board. She's one of really the initiators of Your One United. So we appreciate you. And the topic that we're going to dive in right now, our topic tonight is youth workforce development and sustainable tourism in Great Palm Springs. So you're welcome. We are ready to hear from you.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen here.
And really the protocol is, you guys, if you have a question, you can put in the chat, or you can just try to ask a question in a way that you are comfortable. Right. So, yeah.
I can't see what everyone's seeing, and I can't even see myself. So I hope all of you can see this. Yes.
I can see just you.
Just me? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's change that. Better?
Yes. I can see now. Thank you.
Perfect. Good. All right. Thank you. Zoom life, isn't it? So just wanted to, I introduced myself, but other members of my team are here. My boss, Davis Meyer, she's the Senior Director of Community Engagement, and Erica Barker, our partnership manager. Really, her title should be Workforce Development Manager, because that's what she focuses on full time. So visit Greater Palm Springs. A lot of people don't really know what we do, what our mission is, but really what our technical name is. We're a destination marketing organization. Oftentimes we're called the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Really what we do is we support tourism here in the Coachella Valley. We bring visitors to this area. And I'll go into how that role has kind of changed and developed, but sort of that's our main mission is marketing and branding this destination, sharing its gems and all that it has to offer to the world. We are funded by a 3% fee on all room lodging for hotels and resorts with 50+ rooms, and a 1% of short-term vacation rental stays less than 28 days. Oftentimes people say, oh, you're funded by taxpayer dollars. This is how we're funded. It's from our industry, and we support each of our 9 cities. So we our tagline, our brand is 9 cities, 1 oasis, or find your oasis. That's really the our tagline. But we share the gems of each of the 9 cities of the Coachella Valley. Why this is important in our area is that tourism is the #1 industry in Greater Palm Springs. It supports 1 in 5 jobs. In 2021, we saw 12.8 million visitors come to this area. They spent $5.6 billion on the total economic impact of visitors coming to this area was $6.8 billion. That generates $644 million of state and local taxes. And what that translates to is a savings of $3,970 to each household in the greater Palm Springs area. So each household would have that additional tax burden without tourism in this area. I added this slide at the last minute, and it was because of Zubair. He asked me, he wanted to ask a question about international tourism, and it kind of goes along with who comes to this area. And we have a very strong presence. We have a lot of guests from all over the US, from Canada, from Mexico. We have a pretty big following of guests from Australia, China, France, UK, and Germany. They love our weather. They come here in the summer. I know that's shocking to a lot of desert locals that they would love to come here in the summer, but they do. If you think about Australia, it's actually their winter in the summer. So this destination is, they're looking for the warmth. And we're building a presence in India, South Korea, Japan, Italy, and Scandinavia. So as I mentioned before, our sort of primary objective has always been marketing this destination, but we've really taken on a role in the last, I would say, 5 to 7 years of destination stewardship and advocacy. So our priority areas of focus you can see here. So things like air service, wayfinding, attracting meetings, conventions, sporting events, international business. But the ones I've highlighted here are the ones that my team and I work on. So DEI, sustainability, accessibility, highlighting cultural heritage, workforce development, higher education. Because as with anything, tourism is about balance. We have to take into account the environment. We have to take into account quality of life for our residents, quality of the economy, and the experiences that our visitors also want to have. So I really think our team is driven by how do we make the Coachella Valley a sustainable, inclusive, equitable place for all to live, work, and travel to. And we're also thinking about and asking the questions, what is it that tourism is doing to make this a better world, a better place, and why should we have tourism here? And we want to drive the conversation to make the conversation about tourism more thoughtful, more intentional, and more relevant. One of the ways we do that is that we do have a tourism foundation. It's our 501c3 arm that we drive a lot of our workforce development projects to. Really, our mission is to advance education, employment, and professional growth in the tourism and hospitality community. We do that by providing scholarship opportunities and professional development opportunities for young people in this area. And just to go into a little bit of a deeper dive into how we work on workforce development, we are driven by data and research, which I know Jilska is going to love, because Jilska loves data and research. But we initiate studies. We have an analytics manager on staff, and we're doing things like finding out the number of management jobs in hospitality, the salary ranges, where do they live, where do they work? It's a workforce summary. We're looking at research to really build a case for bringing hospitality and tourism educational opportunities to this area. We really just want to be a good partner to all the schools that are in this region to provide great platforms and chances for students to learn leadership opportunities. We have a great partnership with One Future Coachella Valley, which I know that this organization is very familiar with. And what they're doing is they're helping us increase awareness of hospitality careers. We're establishing a blueprint for internship and mentorship programs. They run the Tourism Foundation scholarship opportunities, and they also have targeted workshops, speaker panels, networking opportunities. Because we market, that's our wheelhouse. It's sort of what we do best. We also have a marketing campaign, and I'll show you one of our videos a bit later. But we have a marketing campaign that promotes careers in hospitality and tourism, and showcases folks that have really have really had a wonderful career path, have maybe started at an entry-level position and have grown. And the campaign also shows the breadth of opportunities within hospitality and tourism. And I'll go into that in the next few slides. I think we often think of it in these very defined buckets of what we think hospitality and tourism is, but it's much broader. I mentioned professional development. So this is the program that Erica runs. It's called Team GPS, and it's our professional development arm run through the Tourism Foundation. And we have a partnership with COD's PACE program. It's their partnership and community education program. And with them, we teach there's an opportunity to teach hospitality skills. We have a Team GPS Champions training, which is really a kind of tourism ambassador program, giving, highlighting the destination, customer service skills, really giving some skills to entry level or frontline workers about what it is to promote this destination. And then we also have an emerging leaders program at COD as well that we promote in the industry. And that is really for folks that are, maybe at a supervisory level or really hoping to catapult their management career. The Emerging Leaders Program gives them the skills to do that. So through the Tourism Foundation, we also offer scholarships for that program at COD. So next, I am going to show you a little video, hopefully it works, of our hospitality and our hospitality careers campaign. It's a little snippet. And it's an interview with Yolanda Bender, who is the head of the hospitality program at College of the Desert.
I think that in the community, there's this idea that it's only low-paying jobs, housekeeping, maintenance, maybe a front desk agent, but there's so much more. Sales and marketing, finance, facilities, general management, food and beverage. These are career jobs.
Find your own oasis. Excuse me.
I think that in the community.
Right. So we have a variety of videos in that series, and those are targeted ads. As I said, showcasing the breadth of opportunities and showcasing the pathways of folks within the industry. And as Yolanda said in her video, there's accounting, there's marketing, social media, spa, fitness, wellness, food and beverage. We just went to a job fair today at Fantasy Springs, a Valley-wide expo put on by the county, and Agua Caliente has a job for cybersecurity. I didn't put it on here, but there's also within casinos, there's jobs being, working in the casino, on the casino floor, being a dealer, engineering, facilities management, tourism development. Here's some stats from the American Hotel Lodging Association Foundation that 80% of entry-level workers are eligible for a promotion in less than a year in hospitality. 50% of hotel general managers got their start in an entry-level position, which I think really showcases that you can go quite far in hospitality with sort of, hard work and finding different opportunities. And 90% of entry-level workers get a raise within 9 to 12 months of being hired. And we've seen this borne out, for example, at Agua Caliente. A lot of their entry-level workers they're eligible for transfer within 3 months. And they have a lot of folks that have worked there for a really long time that have been able to, propel themselves to higher levels within the industry. And the next, the tourism ecosystem. And this is important to us because tourism is not just about hotels, restaurants, attractions as we know it. The tourism ecosystem, visitor spending supports gas stations, retail, small business, services, laundry services, beauty services. So really, tourism and hospitality can support entrepreneurship in small businesses. And what we know at Visit Greater Palm Springs, or what we've discovered and what we want to be a part of, is how can we be the conduit between small businesses, entrepreneurs, and the tourism ecosystem? How can we help with capacity building or accelerator programs, or just providing a forum and an opportunity for small businesses and entrepreneurs to be a part of the tourism ecosystem. So I'm gonna end here and really just open it up for questions. But I just wanted to say that I think we have a really immense capacity to move and inspire people and share ideas here at Visit Greater Palm Springs, because we are the representative of the biggest industry in this area. And we really are all in this together. And we bring people together from communities from all over the world. So we should be doing that here. And again, I'm so grateful for the time and for the space to be with all of you. And I'm really happy to answer any questions you have from here.
We really appreciate your presentation. It is really wonderful, interesting, and the way you look at how your international experience you have. And really, it's open to all of you. If you have any question, feel free to ask the question.
Yes, please.
Since the topic today, it was really about youth workforce development and sustainable tourism. What we would like to know, how have you really involved the youth into your programs?
Sure. I mean, I think we do that by engaging with educational institutions like COD, with our partnership with One Future Coachella Valley. You know, I'm happy. I should have included in this slide, but we do have a great scholarship program, and that's facilitated by One Future. So if any of the youth that you work with are looking for a scholarship to pursue a career in hospitality or tourism, you know, please have them take advantage of it. I can put that information in the chat. But I would, you know, and we're planning on doing more community outreach as we move forward to share this message with young people.
Okay, mainly most of the time when we talk to the youth, they say, how much does it pay? Mm-hmm. Because we can look at, okay, the youth will get in, he will be promoted after this months or years, but how much do I start? Mainly basic pay. So most youth, when you talk to them, even sometimes not only youth, but when you talk to them, they're looking at a pay. What is the basic start that you look at that your youth will be able to be paid, or any kind of employee that might come in?
Sure. I mean, I think entry-level positions are of course, you know, they're starting at perhaps minimum wage. But if you're looking at tipped positions, servers, bartenders, they can make quite a bit of money on tips. But there's also opportunities, I think, to, as I said, for advancement that's quite quick. And you know, I was just looking, for example, at F10 Creative. They have restaurants in Palm Springs, like Cheeky's and Mr. Lyons. I mean, they're hiring hostesses for $25 an hour. So, I mean, I think there's a range of opportunities. But again, I think, you know, the message that we want to talk about is, you know, it's not necessarily just about working at a hotel or working at a restaurant or working at an attraction. It's, you know, what is the idea, the small business idea that I could come up with that could be targeted to tourists and visitors, right? I think that's what we're thinking of, and educational programs that are provided by, you know, let's say by COD or by CSUSB, offer great opportunities to propel folks to the next levels of their careers and give them those valuable soft skills, leadership skills that they would need to go into these other areas.
Yeah, that's true. Mainly when the youth, when they come in, or whoever comes in, they want to see the future. What is the future? How can we help them, really equip them with the skills that they can maybe also start their own company, be able to make the money, be able also to help the communities. So really, there's great programs. Do you have any question within the audience, please?
Ms. Quanta posted something in the chat. It says PSUSD has created a focus on career and technical education at the high school level. Is there a partnership with the school district to include hospitality in these programs?
So we have a, we work very closely with Coachella Valley Unified School District. They have a great hospitality program that's been around for a really long time. So we work with them pretty closely. I think it's really interesting that Palm Springs Unified School District, I know that they have academies and career technical education, but I'm not sure it's, they wanted it to be in hospitality. I don't know if either Davis or Erica knows about that.
I was just going to jump in. So they are a part of sort of the network of CTE programs at each of the 3 school districts. And while they don't have a hospitality specific one, we do participate in advisory groups that they have, really focusing in those academies on soft skills, the skills that students need when they leave high school to be able to go interview for jobs, understand what it means to show up on time and clock in, and what basic customer service skills are, so that they can, start successfully in some of those entry-level positions, and work their way into management and up in their career with the additional training and education. So we do advise in some of those academies on some of the direction and skill sets that they should be getting when they come out of those academies.
Super.
Thank you. Yeah.
And kind of to add to what Davis is saying, I think a lot of the skills that you learn in hospitality careers are transferable. I think, it's customer service, it's conflict negotiation, discipline, time management, all of these other pieces. I think a career in hospitality, if anything, gives you a great foundation to perhaps take it into other areas as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. When we look at in your presentation, you said you served the 9 cities of the Great Palm Springs. In particular, if I'm here and I'm watching or I'm listening to you, what is unique about all these different cities that, in particular, if I were to say, okay, I want to visit, what can you tell me about Coachella Valley that is really unique from Palm Desert or from Indian Wells? Can you say something about these different cities, please?
About each of the cities? Okay,
If
Erica, I'm gonna need your help here. We do an actual course on this, and we try to cover each of the cities. So Erica, if you could help me.
Yeah, definitely. So each city kind of has their own tagline and their own hidden gems. Of course, there's some similarities throughout all of them. And we're really lucky that all 9 cities work really well together, knowing, the strengths of each and what have you. When we look at some of the more signature events or attractions, a lot of times Palm Springs is, you think of the tram when you think of Palm Springs, or visitors iconically think of the tram. They think of that old Hollywood feel, the mid-century modern architecture. As we move into Palm Desert, we have, things like the fashion shows and the food and wine events, things like that. We have shopping, some of the higher end retail shopping in that city. We move into things like Indian Wells, and they're really known for the BNP Paribas and the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, the pickleball event that they have their national competition there every year, things like that. Let me see, La Quinta, we're thinking also La Quinta Art Celebration, which was formerly the La Quinta Arts Festival that was, hosted there for many years. Most recently, they've partnered with the city of Indian Wells to create Ironman. So they have the Ironman event going through both cities there. I'd say Indio is very well known for their festivals. So they're often considered the city of festivals. Stagecoach, Coachella, the Tamale Festival, coming back again this year, the International Date Festival, things like that. Coachella, we have a lot of culture there, especially in like the Hispanic culture. In Coachella, we have the Coachella walls, which are really unique walls, murals painted on walls that are very famous now, I would say, very Instagrammable. You know, they got very trendy when Instagram and all that, being able to go out there and take pictures of that, selfies at the walls. What am I? Desert Hot Springs, we have, you know, they're very well known for their health and wellness features, the hot mineral springs, all the spas that are located there as well. Did I miss any?
Cathedral City, they have
Cathedral.
the hot air balloon festival.
Yes, they have a hot air balloon festival. You know, we have LGBTQ events in a lot of the cities in general, but you also think of Cathedral City's LGBTQ days, Palm Springs Pride Festival, we have the Dinah. What used to formerly be the ANA was hosted here for quite a while in the golf tournament. Again, golf is another thing that every city kind of touches on and has different, you know, parts that they contribute to that, you know, type of sporting events as well. A lot of unique things, you know, like we could keep going on, but there, you know, every city does kind of have their own special thing as well as things that they have in common.
Thank you so much. That was a great, and really Coachella mainly when I go there with the music festival, it was really, I was like, am I lost? Am I in some big city? Everywhere you see the vehicles and so on. So that's really great.
Right.
Yeah, Mr. John, please.
Hi, I just recognized, Lauren, earlier, one of the areas you emphasized the work of your team was DEI related. And I just wanted you to talk a little bit about what that looks like and how maybe it's going to help the underserved communities in Greater Palm Springs.
Sure, absolutely. So our DEI work has a number of components. You know, there's the internal component. We work with a company called Travel Unity, and they've been working with us to codify our DEI values and our systems and processes. So it's a journey. You know, we've gone through different courses as an organization, and you know, now we're at the next phase where we're, you know, working team by team of, you know, how are we being really intentional about ensuring certain values of diversity, equity, inclusion are incorporated into our work. And then, you know, it's gonna move to an external phase as well, to our stakeholders, to our partners, and sharing that message and sharing our values and giving them the resources and tools to incorporate DEI into all of their work as well. But some of the programs we're thinking about, or that fall under that sort of DEI sphere, are Indigenous and cultural tourism initiatives. So we're working with, you know, with local tribes to highlight and amplify all of the programs that they have, and really supporting those communities to share their work in a really authentic way. So that basically means that we're letting those folks tell their stories. And what we can provide is any tools or any marketing opportunities to share those wonderful stories. DEI is also about, for us, I mentioned it briefly in our presentation, is thinking through how we can help emerging communities, underserved communities to take part of the tourism ecosystem. So what kind of, you know, accelerator programs or incubator programs can we put together to help small businesses and entrepreneurs from underserved communities take part in this tourism ecosystem? So these are just sort of some of the things we're thinking of. My list is very long, but that's kind of a little highlight and snapshot of our DEI work.
Thank you.
There is a question in the chat. Are you looking at training young people in the digital marketplace? This is an opportunity for our young students to look at opportunities as influencers.
I think that's a really good point. You know, we work quite frequently with influencers on our social media channels. So I think to If there was a program or some sort of skills training that addressed that specifically, I think that would be really interesting. Just bringing it to the organizational level, we do have an internal internship program. So we currently have an intern that just graduated from CSUSB. He's working in our finance department, but also working on a variety of other projects. He's a wonderful young man that we're just really grateful to know. And we want to continue in that vein. And it really is, I think we're kind of structuring it so that we'll have an intern here at Visit Greater Palm Springs 3 times a year. And that's going to last, 10 to 12 weeks or even longer. And, with also the idea that it could potentially lead to a full-time job placement, which would be great if we had the space for that person. But, this organization has a variety of departments. As I've shared with you what we do here, but we have a marketing and branding department, sales, destination experiences. We have an operations team, a finance team. So there's lots of different opportunities for an internship to build a skill set here. So I can also share that with the group when we have an internship opening here as well.
Thank you.
To anybody in the audience? Okay.
Oh, hello.
Hi, I've told you before that I'm interested in the graphic design program, and I just wanted to know what kind of responsibility does an intern in your program has for the graphic design and marketing?
Sure. I mean, I think it would be, once again, depending on the need, but I could see a graphic design intern working on just a variety of projects. There's always something that comes up here, I think, as Erica and Davis can attest to. It could be, working on a social media campaign like the one that I showed you. It could be, working on a logo for a new project, a program. But we also like an intern. We really want to structure our internship program so that the intern gets experience in all of our departments, so that they get a little taste of everything that we do here. I don't know if Davis or Erica have anything to add to that.
I just wanted to say, I know a lot of our partners need graphic design help and some, digital sort of design help as well. And not all of them have super structured internship programs. We're working with them, as Lauren has mentioned, in trying to help develop those. But to the extent that, you're looking for work experience or short projects, I think there's a lot of our partners, hotels, restaurants, things like that we could help connect with as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point and something to add to our list.
Yeah.
As something that could be really interesting. Yeah.
I did also want to just add.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I did also want to add a little something, just saying, like how Lauren mentioned that, we're trying to structure it to go around to different departments. I think that's a real great benefit, no matter what industry. But if you're able to get a little snippet of all of the different departments and how they work together, it only would help strengthen your understanding of who the target client is, who you're marketing your designs to, and so forth. So don't be swayed away from it, that it's not just solely focused on one thing like graphic design, because there's a lot to learn from the other departments that I think only helps strengthen your ability and your knowledge.
I definitely agree. I also like something that is like everything, that I can get to experience so many things, and it's a learning process. I love that.
Thank you.
So, Rory, do we have another person in the audience? If you have a question, please go ahead and ask.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
No, I was asking, is there somebody in the audience that has a question?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Hi, Zubair.
Hello.
Hey, Lauren, how are you?
Hi. Hi, Edwin.
Good to see you. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
My question, actually, because of your experience in Indonesia,
Yeah.
and I know it was about working there to help with development there. What did you learn in Indonesia that's transferred to here?
It's a really great question. I learned a lot about, so I'll just bring it internally first. I learned a lot about myself, I think, from that project. I learned a lot about education and, providing certain skill sets and how that can really be catalytic for communities. And I think those lessons I can bring to what we do here. The importance of education and skills building, life skills like financial literacy, like leadership, public speaking, being part of a team. Those skills are valuable anywhere in the world. So I kind of bring some of that here. And, I also brought a lot of, I think, community and the focus on at how important community is back with me. Because living in Sumba, family and community is everything. It's at the center and core of every decision that's made. Having everyone's input and everyone's feedback. And I bring that to my work here. It was such a beautiful time there. That just has really it changed my whole life to be there. And I couldn't go back, I think, to doing something that wasn't related to building community, strengthening community, and social impact. So.
Thank you. When I look at what you are doing in Indonesia and so on, I was looking at your presentation when you presented the almost the world map. I did not see people going out from Palm Springs, but I see many people coming in. Does it mean that the organization is just bringing in people, but it doesn't take out people?
I mean, I think, we're sort of focused on who comes here. Our team definitely travels a lot to do that. So our organization travels quite a bit to all of the destinations that I told you about. Absolutely. But of course, because we're an organization that tries to be agile and resilient and innovative, we are also bringing in, I think, thoughts and ideas from around the world to do the work that we do.
Okay.
Did you have a question, Vladi?
Yes, I was kind of impressed by the number of partners you have within whole Coachella Valley. So it's like all different fields, also nonprofits and private companies. So I'm kind of wondering, like, do they approach you to be partners, or do you specifically look for them? Or like, for example, of course, everyone knows we are going to have a huge new big thing in the Coachella Valley, which is the agriculture arena. So are they going to be like automatically included, or do they have to like ask you for help? So how does this work?
I'll let Davis or Erica answer.
So we get approached by a lot of partners for venues in particular, like the arena or the convention center in Palm Springs, say, or any other large facility that can have groups and meetings. They usually reach out very early on because our organization does a lot to bring in meeting planners and people who are booking groups like that here in the Coachella Valley. So they do invest with us, but we would work with them. Any venue that's taking large groups, we are looking to work with and actively engaged with. And so I would say it's a mix of partners, all types of businesses, either connecting with us to get their listings up on our website and, share their information so they can be included in media pitches or, blog posts, social media, stuff like that we're doing. And that's part of some of the DEI initiatives that we've been working on is, maybe reaching outside of our core network a little bit and the people who know us and the people who know them, and really trying to get into these communities who may not be as familiar with us and what we do, and with how to connect with visitors and how to promote their business. Any visitor facing sort of experience or business can have a free listing on our website, and we, include them in any content or pitches that are appropriate. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question a little bit about how we connect with partners in the community.
Yes, thank you.
Any more questions from the audience? When we look at the tourism industry, and like any other business, with the pandemic, many businesses have crashed. Now, even before bringing in new guests has been difficult for many companies. With going through, and right now you're in operation, what have you done really differently to get out of this pandemic? Because most of businesses, maybe some of them are just like, no, and it's still sometimes it's still difficult for tourists to come in. What kind of techniques are you using right now to attract them to come back, empower them, or motivate them to be able to come back to visit?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a really good question, and you know, I'll let Davis and Erica maybe also answer this because they were here, you know, during the pandemic. But I just will say that from the data that we've gathered, you know, we're not back to 2019 levels, but the growth is really strong. We've seen our numbers really advance through 2021, and we're forecasting for 2023. This forecast is really strong. So I can speak to that, but in terms of tactics, I'll let Davis answer.
So a lot of what we did during the pandemic, you know, we're very lucky to be in a region that is naturally perceived as very open and distant and allowing people to have space and not be, you know, like in a congested city. So we really, as soon as it was safe to start promoting and advertising again, we really played on that. We really, you know, highlighted the open spaces, the outdoor experiences that people can have here. We really promoted our safety measures that businesses were putting into place. So the businesses that were requiring masks and proof of vaccination, we did highlight those because that made a lot of visitors feel safe. For groups and meetings, as soon as they were allowed to start, you know, gathering again, we really highlighted the safety measures that different venues had put into place, as well as our vaccination rate was actually really high for our specific region, just the Coachella Valley. And so we promoted that a lot in our messaging and marketing that we were doing as well. So I think that safety messaging really partnered with the fact that we are this open, natural space, really helped bring back a lot of those visitors faster than a lot of the cities and gateway destinations that are a little bit more congested.
Thank you. We still have some time. If somebody is in the audience, please feel free to ask any question. And you see our guests, and our guests really, they're doing a good job and ask any question. They're here for us. Feel free to ask a question if you have one.
Actually, can I ask a question?
Please.
You know, what do you, as you know, as a group, or have some ideas about what, you know, what the stigmas of hospitality and tourism are, and sort of any ideas of the ways that you know, we could work together to kind of combat that stigma and kind of, you know, share the possibilities of careers in this industry. I'd love to hear from this group, you know, good and bad, what you've heard about tourism and hospitality, and maybe how we can counter some of those narratives.
This is one of my favorite questions, because I think we spoke about it soon. Like, a lot of people, as you said in your video that you showed us, it's like they think it's like housekeeping, like front desk and things like that. But one of the things I've noticed is also my past work with you, it was the international opportunities this job provides. And it's also kind of the reason why you travel to all the continents. And I feel like a lot of people don't know it. And it's specifically interesting to me because I have travel fever too. And I think that's a great opportunity for people who think like, oh, I can't afford to travel, like what will I do? So I think for me, that's kind of the most interesting part of the hospitality industry. Also something I had no idea about, because I also kind of like put them into the bucket of like, oh, it's just the housekeeping, you work in a hotel. So I think like one of the great things that I kind of also was like, oh yeah, I guess it's really cool to work in hospitality. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think, travel is a big part of this industry. We have a great video from a CSUSB student, hospitality student. That was one of the reasons that he mentioned that he joined the hospitality program, was because he wanted to travel. So.
And there's a question in the chat real quick from Quana. It says, oftentimes there are barriers to funding opportunities that impact minority communities. Does your incubator program do anything to address these barriers?
Well, I mean, I think we just answered that with the previous question. So yes, I absolutely. I mean, I think,
so that's kind of tied to the same thing, right?
Correct. Yes.
Just double check. Okay, yes. That's great.
Absolutely. Yep.
Any more questions?
Yeah. Any more questions or any more feedback about hospitality and tourism, Edwin?
I love discussions around cultural destinations and tourism. It gets a lot of times. Tourism gets associated with a very, more well-off class, a wealthy class of people. How does tourism in your organization, for instance, address, this sort of, how do you broaden tourism and sort of to include folks who don't have the money, who aren't part of that leisurely class, that is traditional in terms of that, and it again also gets associated with gentrification, for instance, the idea of like, only a certain wealthy class will be able to come to Palm Springs and enjoy it.
Absolutely. I mean, this is sort of what we're grappling with, right? This balance is tourism. Can tourism be a force for good, and how can we highlight and amplify the cultural heritage of this region? How can we amplify and highlight businesses from emerging communities, from underserved communities? So, I don't have a really formal answer for that, unless maybe Davis does as well.
I just wanted to, I mean, that's a really great point. And we have, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've been talking about this internally a lot, because for so long, we're really data driven in a lot of our marketing and, what we do. And the data says, these are the people who are going to spend the most money here. This is the most likely, visitor to the destination. And so we target them. And those do tend to be that, wealthier travelers. So we have made a really concerted effort over the last few years in our marketing to highlight the affordability of the destination and experiences that you can have here without, spending a lot of money, staying at the Ritz-Carlton, that kind of thing. So the camping experiences, the experiences in more affordable accommodations, and then tying that in with the cultural experiences. I think the 30 free things to do on our website is like the second or third most popular blog on a regular basis. We really try to keep that current with, free experiences like the Coachella walls, the murals, the public art, things like that people can come and experience. So, and then, really translating some of our marketing into other languages, so that we're speaking to people authentically, not just relying on Google Translate in all of our marketing. And trying to reach those communities, just like you said. So, I think we still certainly have work to do in that area, but it has been, I know, a focus of our marketing team for several years now.
We appreciate you. To go back, really, as an organization, we are One United. We work with the really kids and people who have low income, and you are the organization within that area. We are trying to see how we can really also get out these students or children from low income, to take them just domestically, maybe to take them to Los Angeles, maybe to take them to New York, to take them around. we request that if possible within your company, can you look at how you can help these kids? Maybe give them an opportunity, maybe something low, a price that is a little bit lower, so that maybe we can work together and help them, expose them to part of this country. Even if in future we can even go international, like you were in Indonesia. If you get a child from Palm Springs and take them to Indonesia, they might see the world differently. They might see the opportunity. So we humbly beg you, if possible, to be able to do that. Also, what I would say, your feedback that you wanted, I think you should do more advertisement highlighting the benefits so that really people know what are the benefits to join the industry. Also, what I look at it, if possible, you look at it if you can get good ambassadors. For example, I saw you a teacher, being a faculty member, you can look at how many foreign students are there. They can be good ambassadors for you in wherever they were born once they know what is really going on. Also, I don't know if your organization is just the leisure and maybe culture, but when you look at now the industries that are really booming, medical tourism. So if you can do research on that and see how can you do that, then it can bring in a lot. I really appreciate, I don't know, John, I will give you an opportunity if you have something to say. We really appreciate our speakers, but if you don't have something to say, I would give the two guests, if you have anything to say in final, please put it there, and then we call it a day. John, do you have something to say, please?
No, I think this was wonderful. Thank you all for a great presentation tonight. It's always great to see Lauren and now to make new friends. Thank you all for coming over. And I'll flip it back to you, Lauren. Is there anything you want to close with?
I just want to thank you, firstly, Zubair, for the feedback. Thank you, Mr. Epps, Jilska, Angelica, Kwana, Ghazali, Edwin, Lottie, Emma, Jesse, David, Davis, Erica. Thank you so much for being here, for once again giving us the space and time, and just wanted to let you know we're here to support you in any way that we can. And Zubair, those requests, we're going to think about that and think about how we can support. But you know, we have great connection to industry here, and we have some great programs. So I'm sure we can figure out a way to expose young people to the gems of this destination and maybe even beyond. So thank you so much again, and look forward to seeing you all soon.